Okay, we're live here, and it's Hinesh, Sage, and myself. I guess, Hinesh, you were first online. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, so for me, all it was, not much to update on. Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, not much to update on for me, but I did review your PR for the documentation. Just wanted to say we might need to add on there how to become a collaborator on the project.
Yeah, Federico had the same comment.
Yeah.
So he suggested I put in there something about just put a question out there on the Slack channel for the project. If you don't know who the coordinator is.
Mm-hmm.
So I did add that. I got a few other comments from him. I've already made the change and put a PR in place a few minutes ago. Good. Well, thank you for reading that. Appreciate that.
And that's it for me.
In that document, I'm assuming they understand conventions like what origin means, what upstream means when we refer to repos that way. That's convention. I may have to add something to the doc if we get somebody who's a real newbie who doesn't understand that stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, and might have like a Git cheat sheet or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just define terms at the top in the background section. This is what origin means. You know.
Yeah.
Again, it's just convention. It's not something everybody does.
No. Cool.
Okay, good. So next up, I guess, Sage, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Let's see. It's hard to even remember what I did yesterday. I guess I spent more time working with this Salesforce stuff and trying to start learning how to work with their like custom SQL language so that I can try to backfill all of the connections between like the dashboard and our Salesforce database, because I want to have it so that you can, when you have a new course, you can automatically connect that to Salesforce and create like a Salesforce record for it. But then I would also like to be able to basically just sort of run a script to like search through Salesforce and find the matching record for each of our courses so that we can just connect them that way. So far not successful in figuring out how to actually do these searches that I want, but I'm gonna keep working on that.
So they have their own version of SQL. It's like SQL but with extensions or something, or it's a 4GL on altogether.
I don't know. SOQL, Salesforce Object Query Language. but I'm not. I need to figure out how to like make it search the right field that I want. Like I have like a partial string to. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It's just another QL to learn.
Yeah, really.
I was really like for a long time trying to orient my work around like how can I avoid learning Salesforce specific stuff, but I knew that I could only run for so long.
It caught up to you. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's see. We have actually two Michaels here. So Michael, do you want to go first? Which one of you unmutes first? There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Hi.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Yeah, glad I could join in again today. So, so I basically got my environment set up. Actually, let me close the door. Sorry. So, yeah, basically got the environment set up. Basically, I think the only issue I ran into was trying to get the gulp to run, because when I did, the Rails, when I started the Rails internal server, I got no such file directory at RB sys open. It says this error occurs when the asset build process has not generated the required ref manifest JSON files. And that was the only issue I ran into, but everything else seemed to have solved successfully. So I was trying to Google around for that. So yeah, besides that, I'm just ready to learn and see what I could pitch in on.
You were setting up the WikiEd dashboard project?
Exactly.
And so,
is this for all the projects that you're talking about, or is this channel just for the wiki video?
no, well, this is a general Scrum for so that people sort of share whatever they're working on. But I was talking about the SCAD project when I went, and I recognized from the error message that you were too.
Okay.
But yeah, I think when Hanesh goes, he'll probably mention the projects that he's working on.
Okay. So
yeah. So if you want to put whatever errors you're getting when you run Gulp into the chat, we can try to debug that.
Put it in a group chat message.
Yeah. Or yeah, as a snippet, like in the on Slack. Yeah.
On Slack. Okay. Inside the Wiki EDU dashboard channel, right?
Yes.
Okay, I will do that.
Do you want to hang out afterwards for a few minutes, Sage and Michael, and maybe we can screen share and take a look what's going on?
Yeah,
sure.
By all means.
It could be fixed pretty quickly.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Rather than struggle.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
So moving on to the other Michael. How are you doing?
Okay, so I had some things to do this morning, unrelated. Yesterday, I ended up kind of messing around with this gem called Webpacker that the Rails is forwarding, and they're gonna do it. It's gonna be standardized in 5.1, but it can work in Rails 5 right now. It's basically like, how do I do Webpack to support SPA without building a full pipeline for Webpack, like without just using the asset pipeline to still serve the CSS and that kind of stuff, but just packing like your SPA, your React app or your Angular app in the Webpack format, so that builds a bundle for you. So that kind of works out of the box. I fiddle around a little bit, just creating like a new Rails 5 app with really nothing in it, and then got that working and got like a hello world version of React working pretty quickly. And then I thought, well, what about unit tests, right? So then took a little bit while to get Jest working, and I'm also looking at possibly doing unit tests with Mocha. So that probably involves a little more configuration to switch that over, but basically just exploring what Webpacker can do.
Cool, Michael. Just to educate us real quickly, is this Webpacker leveraging the asset pipeline in Rails, and it's an alternative way to get the assets loaded?
It's actually using Webpack. Like Webpack itself is like a node project that kind of bundles front-end assets for you together. And you can also like bundle and serve like CSS and like JavaScript and like all the stuff that you need, and like other, I think even images and stuff. But this is just bundling JavaScript and serving it.
Oh, I see. Yep.
And it will basically, the idea is to make it easy out of the box to get like React working with, for your front end.
Okay, and it works in parallel with the asset pipeline, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, so like there's helpers and stuff that basically like they've provided on the Rails side, like helpers that are like basically JavaScript helper tags to insert the JavaScript from your bundle.
Cool. Wow. Sounds cool.
Yeah. It's still a work in progress for them. I mean, it's not going to be officially released till 5.1, but I was just looking at it early.
Neat. Good to know. Thanks, Michael. Let's see, I guess, Aresh, hi. Would you like to give an update?
Hi.
Hi there.
Well, nothing much. I've only been working in an issue to polish the interface when courses are ended, for courses that are ended. I'm still working in that. I need to write some tests and figure out some errors. No blockers.
Okay, great. Yeah, I saw some dialogue going back and forth there. So for myself, I have been working on the Met Plus project. I've reviewed a bunch of stories. I merged one story this morning. I created a new story for review with Laura, our UI designer, tomorrow when she joins the morning Scrum. For the Swedish dog industry, SHF project, I reviewed some stories there and put a few more thoughts down for our client meeting for tomorrow. On WikiEd, I reviewed, actually, I'd like to just real quickly screen share so we can look at the waffle board one more time, just to orient ourselves yet again. I did make a few minor changes to it. You can see my screen here. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Waffle board, okay.
Yep.
So this one was just one in progress story, so I moved some stories over. Hinesh, I know you're working on this one, right? 234. Hinesh.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, sorry.
I just assumed it's underway, so I moved it to in progress.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I've got this thing here that I moved over. I hadn't put my name against. I didn't give points to it because it shouldn't consume. We shouldn't get credit for these points because this is just a process doc. It's not, software that's being delivered. And then I moved this over for Sagel, and I'm not giving points to that because the intent here is to measure points for Agile Ventures contributions. I also moved a bunch of stories from estimated over to current sprint. Sage, I don't know if you want to pull any of these back, like you want to focus on a subset of the stories here, or just leave them all available for people to pull over to in progress and start working. But I want to make sure people who show up see that there's stories available to work on.
Okay, so the idea then is that anything in current sprint is available, but not necessarily, but not being actively worked on, or no one's claimed it. And then if someone claims it, then we move it to in progress.
Exactly. So, yeah. So that's it. So, from Michael, so the backlog here is our product backlog. I'm not exactly sure if we're only using this. Actually, Agile Ventures backlog, these might be duplicated. I'm not sure we need both of those columns, but we have the idea of a product backlog. Product owner maintains that. And then during sprint planning.
So, I think that I put things specifically in the Agile Ventures backlog from the general backlog to indicate that I thought would be good for Agile Ventures people, and the main difference being kind of the necessary level of domain knowledge to do it right. Like the ones that sort of stretch across the whole system, even if they're not super complex, I've sort of not put into there, and ones that I thought of as kind of self-contained and probably within reach without a lot of learning the whole system are what I have been putting Agile Ventures on.
Gotcha. Okay. So for this Scrum, we'll probably just focus primarily on the Agile Ventures backlog, which again is the product owner's backlog, maintains that stuff to do. We have sprint planning, so the product owner says, I want to vote on these stories because I want to work on them next, so we put them in the estimated column once they're voted. And then based upon what we think we can do in the sprint we're in or the upcoming sprint, we populate the current sprint column. Anybody in the project can go look at the current sprint and say, gee, I want to work on that. I'm going to pull it over here, assign myself to it, and begin work. That's basic. That's what makes us agile. You come in, you do what you want based upon what's ready to be worked on. You don't have to go through a committee to figure out what you're going to work on. And then once you do, and the process doc that I wrote walks through this, go ahead and move it over to in progress. GitHub generally moves things. If you create a PR, they'll mark it as in progress unless it's already there. I don't want to wait for that. I want to know if somebody's working on a story 2 days before or a week before they make a pull request for it. I want it to be moved over to in progress so we have visibility to the ongoing work. And that's pretty much it. And then when we do a PR, and again, the process doc goes into this, I have a PR that I've just put in for this. Let's say I move it over to needs review. That is the cue for people like Sage, all of us actually, to look at the PR and review the PR and come up with comments. And then once it's merged, I'm hoping we can automate this, but I'm not sure we can. We're going to move the story over to the done column.
I think that does happen automatically.
Okay, good. Good.
If there's a PR attached to it and you merge the PR, then it gets moved to done.
Okay, good. I've seen that.
Or if the issue itself gets closed, then it moves to done.
Okay, yep. We'll have to confirm that works, because I'm not sure I've witnessed that working before, but I know. Okay, so good to hear. So anyway, Michael, the new Michael who showed up, we have these stories available in current sprint that once you're set up, you can go ahead and look at. If you could direct message me your GitHub username on Slack, and then I can add you as a collaborator, which means you can go and you can click on the story, and then you can click on the assignees list and select yourself as assigning yourself to the story. And then you move it over to in progress. And then Sage put these helpful these tags in yesterday. And he's indicating the primary, or maybe the sole major technology, Rails in this particular one. And it's helpful to know I'm looking at a bug or a new feature, that kind of thing. It's a performance improvement, whatever. But the key ones for us who don't really have a large domain knowledge of this system, and it's rather extensive, is Rails. There's a React tag and there's a CSS tag. So this is a hybrid, Rails and React, etc. So anyway, there are these tags that'll be helpful. For you, Michael, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, this one here, 1013, it actually is kind of an Uber one. It's got a number of things that represent work that we want to move to an async process from inline, which blocks for the user, for instance. And there's 4 of them done. There's another 5 done here. And that's a fairly straightforward from an accessibility point of view story. So you may want to take a look at that. And if you need any help with that, all of us could help out with that. And there are others, anything that's marked as Rails, and I know that's your focus right now, Rails, you can go ahead and take a look at that and see if you want to attack it. And if you're unsure, Sage is very helpful after these scrums to walk people through the software behind the story and get them acclimated that way.
Great.
So I just wanted to point that out to you, because once we do get your environment set up, you can go in there and start pulling stories. I'll add you as an assignee, and then you're good to go.
Okay, I'll send you my GitHub account.
Okay, great, perfect.
So Patrick,
Yes.
since you're going to be running the meetings, I guess, for AV's relationship with WikiEd, I was going to suggest you might want to check out some of our podcasts in the book club channel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right now, we did 3 of them so far. They're just the raw, unedited discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're going over the first chapters in a book called Good User Stories,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what is what's a good user story? What's it look like? What kind of questions does it answer? To try and get the most value. So I think it might help with making sure that the user stories are written in a way that's accessible to developers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
I hear you. Okay. Well, also, I think everybody on the team ought to feel free to, once anybody creates a story, go in there and critique it. Put a comment in there. Hey, this is unclear. Yesterday, in fact, we were looking at some user stories, and they're a great description in terms of high-level view of developer description or a description of an actual user feature. But then Hinesh pointed out, for some of us newbies, it'd be great to do a little bit of a task breakdown for how to approach that story from a developer point of view. And so Sage did that for a few, and that's improved things a lot on some of the stories as well. So we're kind of learning as we go along here.
Yeah.
But yeah, good advice. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, user stories are one of those things. Sometimes I feel like it's like art, right? I know what I like. I'm not sure I can describe it, but I know what I like when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, user stories are something where like it really varies a lot of how you ought to write it, like depending on who's going to be like the audience for it.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
like if it's something that like someone sort of has the knowledge of the system and like a sort of pretty broad like range of technical skills that they're going to be able to find whatever solution on their own, then you're probably better off not even trying to like specify a development task, because that may lead them to do something in a worse way than what they would have done on their own. Whereas like can be really helpful to just sort of like spell out the outline of the technical details of like how you were thinking about this task, like if it's if the target audience is someone who needs that.
Yep. Or even just,
and it's like for me, like like a lot of these sort of stories in the backlog, or sort of like I wrote them with myself as the audience in mind. Then like they're really telegraphic, and they're just like, oh, like just make sure you don't forget to like do the thing.
right.
So I have to like come back and touch them up before they're ready for anyone else to usefully tackle.
Yeah, so that's why I think reviewing the stories during our sprint planning is really useful. And we can say, well, this is like shorthand to somebody who knows the system intimately. I need a little bit more direction, hand-holding than that. I was on a project where insisted on every story had to be written from in that formal mechanism that user stories generally are written in, if the audience is the user. So we've done stories. I get so tired of it. I just write a story like, as a developer, I need to fix bugs. I'd write that for a story for a bug fix. If it's a bug, I don't need to write a user story, that kind of thing. Anyway, got to be flexible. All right, cool. So do you want to switch gears here and maybe talk about Michael's setup problem there? I don't know, Michael, if you can share your screen.
Sure.
Is that possible?
I'm not sure how, but
well, as you mouse over, there's a control panel on the left-hand side of the Google Hangout screen, and there's a little green box with an arrow in it. Yep.
I see the screen share. Let me see. That does anything. Let me see if this works. Tell me what you see. Is it just my...
we can see it. Oh, we saw your console there, it looks like?
Yeah. I just got a pop-up saying Google Talk plugin would like to control its computer using accessibility features. Grant access. Do I need to do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
We can see your screen now, though.
Okay, then that's probably fine. I'll just hit, because it needs me to open up my system preferences and probably go through a bunch of menus. But
yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, let me see if deny. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the last error here, requiring external module Babel register. And I Googled around. Can you see this screen right now? My Chrome browser.
No, you've only shared your terminal.
Okay, let me see if I can.
You can show your whole desktop if you want there.
Yeah, that's.
That's helpful. Yep.
Okay, let me see. How about now?
Let's load here.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you see my Chrome browser right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, when I did try to do, I tried to load the Rails server. This is the message I get: no such file or directory at RB. Since open, run gulp. I tried to do that a couple times. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. So this error when you run gulp is the root of the problem, and that specific one is not one that I've seen before.
Okay.
I guess so. I mean, I assume that you did run yarn install and Bower install, and both of those ran without error in your console?
Yeah, basically I followed the whole script and everything ran successfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can I see that error
Yeah,
one more time?
Go back here. Yeah.
The one in your terminal.
Okay. Here.
Yeah. So, so the React presets come from an npm package, and it could be that maybe there was some like conflict that particular part of the yarn install didn't work. Try running yarn install again now, like from your console.
The which install? Sorry?
Yarn install.
Oh, the yarn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try running yarn on your console there.
All right. So. Yeah.
So you shouldn't need to. You've already done that probably. So you should just be able to run just yarn.
Okay. Should I just? I'll let it finish just in case it breaks anything. Yeah, maybe I didn't even run yarn afterwards because I thought I was done. Okay. So which version should I start?
Oh boy, that's interesting. Never seen that before.
Yeah.
Try the latest one.
Latest one. All right.
So it's fetching all these packages, which makes me suspect that you did not fetch them before.
Okay.
Maybe that was the problem.
Yeah. I don't think. Does that look okay with the warnings? Cool.
So after yarn installs all of the node modules, then hopefully Gulp will run properly for you.
Okay.
This is the part of like the stereotypical like why JavaScript is so terrible like tweets where it downloads half the internet in order to just do the most basic things with npm. Whee!
Well, it's only half the internet. Come on, let's not be critical.
And it's way faster with yarn than it is doing it with npm. So there's that.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really worked much with JavaScript.
Don't you like having 1,000 packages? I mean, that's better than 5, right?
The more the merrier.
Actually, standing up this app initially is not a trivial undertaking, Michael. We all hit a few roadblocks, so not surprised.
Okay.
It's complicated. There's a lot of moving parts to this.
And how long has this project been in development?
That's for Sage to answer.
How long
Sure,
has
that's
this
it.
project been in development? Basically, in like this current code base, like traces to the beginning of 2015.
Okay.
We sort of had some precursors to it that that don't directly show up in the history of it. So the sort of like purpose for it existing and like the building infrastructure around helping college professors teach Wikipedia assignments in their classes kind of goes back to basically about 2010, and the trend of actually college professors doing this teaching just sort of on their own goes back to about 2005.
Oh wow.
This project and this particular set of tools for supporting them is about year, like 2 years old, a little more than 2 years.
Do you have Gulp running right now, Michael, in another process?
No.
I think you need that running, right, Sage?
Yeah, you need to at least run it once.
Oh, okay.
You can run gulp build, or you can run just gulp.
Right.
So the difference is that gulp build creates the minified version and then just like exits when it's done, and gulp creates like the not minified version, and it continually watches for file changes and then recompiles every time you change the CSS or JavaScript.
Oh, okay. So gulp build is more versatile.
Yeah, I mean, well, so gulp is more is like what you usually do when you're actively developing, and like gulp build is just to make sure that your system is up and running, and also if you want to deploy it, that's part of the deployment process.
Gotcha.
So it looks like it's working just fine here, and in a sec you'll get a little readout of all of the files that it output. One of which is that manifest file that the error message was referring to. So now it should work if you visit localhost.
Great.
So if you start another, yeah.
Restart.
So we do not need Zeus running, right, Sage? That helps with performance, but we don't need it for development purposes.
That's correct. Zeus is optional. I guess Guard is optional as well if you want to run the Rails server like Mike right now.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. All right. So we did it.
Voila.
Great.
All right. So Yarn was the culprit then. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for so much for that, guys.
No problem.
Okay, good to go. So Michael, take a look at the waffle board when you're ready.
Okay.
And see what you want to work on, and we can talk about it. So these scrums happen Monday through Thursday. We don't do Friday.
Yep.
At the same time. Yep.
Okay. It's not sharing anymore, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yep. I will unpresent you from everybody.
So that's what the last thing you said. These scrums happen from Monday through Thursday, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you want to look at one, and maybe we can talk about it. If you want to take a story and having problems, we can discuss it tomorrow.
Okay. So for now, you said look at the board. If there's any issues I could be interested in or be able to handle, just start looking through it.
Yeah, that one at the top of the performance issue with the like Sidekick background jobs. That's a great first one to do, and you can look at the pull requests that some of the other people have done to fix individual parts of it, which I'll try to link some of them if they're not there already. But that'll give you like a really clear path to follow.
Okay.
And other ones, Michael, as you take them, you'll find that you'll struggle to figure out how to actually even see the thing in the UI, and that's where you need to ask Sage to show you how to get to that view so you can see the thing you're supposed to fix or enhance, because it's not necessarily trivial. So,
Okay.
okay, good. So, great. Glad we got you launched anyway. Anybody else have anything you want to discuss? All right, then. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk tomorrow. Take
Thanks.
care. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye now.